I once thought I was a lucky child. Director Chu was the most renowned director in the industry, and actress Chu was his frequent leading lady. They loved each other, supported each other, and eventually married successfully. And I was their only daughter. But it wasn't long before I realized I wasn't lucky at all. On TV, they always held hands with another little girl. They appeared beneath a towering spire, Director Chu gazing at the little girl on his shoulders with eyes full of love. They went together to admire the cherry blossoms, the little girl and actress Chu wearing identical dresses, a sight as beautiful as a painting. Director Chu and actress Chu would take the little girl to film festivals, all cameras pointed at them. A reporter asked Director Chu, "We all know Lila Chu shone brightly in last month's international figure skating competition. How do you raise such an outstanding daughter?" I sat huddled, knees to my chest, in the dark room, watching the light from the TV intently. Director Chu patted Lila Chu's head and said, "We have great respect for Lila Chu. No matter what she does, actress Chu and I give her our full support." Lila Chu smiled sweetly for the camera, tiny sparkles of light dancing in her eyes. "It's precisely because of the love Director Chu and actress Chu have for me that I am where I am today." Grandma walked into the room and quietly turned off the TV. "Tomorrow, Grandma will take you to register for school. The village secretary said children must attend school at 7 years old." I nodded, fresh tear tracks still on my face. I remembered when we didn't have a TV at home, I would always sit stubbornly at the shopkeeper's store. The entire village only had one TV located there. Every time someone appeared on the screen, my eyes would light up. Truth be told, I no longer remembered my parents' faces. I was truly foolish. Fortunately, Grandma told me they were on TV. If I watched enough, I'd remember them. I just sat there, staring blankly at the black and white screen, hugging my knees. Which one was Director Chu? Which one was actress Chu? I didn't know. Every time Grandma called me home, I'd cry and refuse to leave. She said that when I started elementary school, Director Chu and actress Chu would come to pick me up. So I had to be obedient and listen, because actress Chu hated disobedient children. I believed it. Perhaps Grandma wasn't lying to me then. She also must have thought that Director Chu and actress Chu would come to take me home for school. Otherwise, why would she teach me to read and write, always saying that students in Beijing were very smart? I had to make up for lost ground by learning a few more characters, or else I wouldn't keep up and actress Chu would get angry. I studied diligently, endlessly. Regrettably, neither Grandma nor I ever waited for someone to come pick us up. Lila Chu was the daughter of a friend of Director Chu. I heard that when Director Chu's career was just beginning, Mr. Lila's father helped him immensely. It was thanks to the excellent script he left behind that Director Chu became famous overnight, and actress Chu also gained recognition because of it. After that celebratory party, no one expected Mr. Lila's father to drink and drive. He tragically hit and killed 2 students who were leaving evening classes and was himself severely injured and hospitalized. Before he drew his last breath, he clutched Director Chu's hand, hoping Director Chu would adopt Lila Chu and keep secret that she was his biological daughter. He worried that his mistake would cause Lila Chu to be pointed at and ostracized for life. Director Chu nodded in agreement. And so, I was sent away. That year, I was 3 years old. They told Grandma that to protect me, and not wanting me to be exposed too much, they decided to leave me here. As she spoke those words, actress Chu's tears flowed ceaselessly, weeping so much it pierced Grandma's heart. Indeed, what parents wouldn't be utterly helpless to leave their own biological daughter in a remote village more than 2,000 miles away? They must have been forced to the point of having no other choice. When I was 4, Director Chu and actress Chu brought Lila Chu back to Grandma's house. Grandma quickly picked me up and carried me before them. I timidly glanced at them, my nose unconsciously running. Director Chu gave me a look and said dismissively, "How disgusting, actress Chu. Quickly clean her up." Grandma was all too familiar with this scene. She immediately pulled my shirt and wiped my face a few times. In truth, they looked more like a family of 3. Even their expressions of disgust were identical. Afterward, Director Chu and actress Chu left behind some money and daily necessities, then drove away in a 4-wheeled car I'd never seen, without a single backward glance. Director Chu and actress Chu didn't even touch my face, didn't hold my hand. They left, without a hint of reluctance. Only later did I learn that they had been preparing to take Lila Chu abroad to study figure skating with a professional instructor. When transiting through the city, they conveniently stopped by to visit me. After starting school, I became very sensible. During writing class, the elementary teacher told us to write an essay titled, "My Parents." I struggled for a long time before finally finishing that essay. The elementary teacher asked me, "Your mother's hair is completely white?" I hesitated and nodded. "Her back is hunched, and her teeth are falling out too?" I bowed my head, saying nothing. The elementary teacher pointed to the blackboard, emphasizing each word. "Class, I asked you to write about your parents, not your grandparents. This is off topic." She returned my essay, praising my writing as very good. It would have been perfect if it hadn't been off topic. I thought perhaps this was my fault. Nora Chu's father also worked far away to earn money, only returning once a year. But her essay was still about her father. It was then that I realized Director Chu and actress Chu hadn't visited me in nearly 4 years. That night, I had a dream. I dreamed Director Chu and actress Chu took me to school. Director Chu picked me up, dotingly calling my name. Actress Chu held my school bag and even bought me the biggest, most beautiful balloon. The elementary teacher told them I was very diligent and wrote very well, then told me to read my essay to them. "My mother's hair is as white as snow on her head. Her teeth have begun to loosen, just like mine." Actress Chu angrily tore my essay to shreds, then, along with Director Chu, walked away without looking back. The little girl stood at the door, gloating, extending her hand towards them. At 3 a.m, I jolted awake in fright. I quickly rummaged through my school bag for the essay, intending to write another one about actress Chu, but I didn't know how to write it. Later, everyone noticed that Grandma was always the one who picked me up from school. Grandma also attended every parent-teacher meeting. My classmates asked me, "Charlotte Chu, do you really not have parents?" "It's true, she's from our village. I've never seen her parents." "You're so bad. Even your parents don't want you." "Charlotte Chu is a bad kid, a bad kid." They and I lunged at each other, fighting. Someone pulled my hair, someone kicked my knees, things from my school bag scattered everywhere, and my clothes were torn. Crying, I ran back to Grandma's house and took the small notebook from her table. It contained Director Chu's phone number. Grandma had an old-fashioned phone, and if she needed to find Director Chu, she would call this number. I poured out a few coins from a bottle and gave them to the shopkeeper. There was a red telephone there. Nora Chu often used that phone to call her father. I took a deep breath and carefully dialed each number. On the other end, a cautious male voice answered, not quite like on TV. "Hello? Who is this?" Trembling, I told him I was Charlotte Chu, his daughter. The other end was silent for a very long time, as if confirming whether it was true. "Oh, right. When my parents left, I hadn't even learned to speak. It's understandable that Director Chu didn't recognize my voice. It sounded like there were a lot of people on Director Chu's end, like a neighbor's house during Tet, bustling and lively. When he spoke, his voice was cold and stiff. "If anything happens, I'll call Grandma. Under no circumstances are you to call your parents' numbers haphazardly, understand?" "Yes, I understand, Director Chu. Could you and actress Chu—" Before I could finish my sentence, he hung up. I stood frozen, clutching the phone, my lips pressed tight, unable to hold back my tears. Tears fell, one by one, onto the counter. I only wanted to tell him that my classmates were bullying me. They said I didn't have parents. Could my parents come visit me just once? Just once. I just wanted them to know that I wasn't a child nobody wanted. That day, I don't remember how I made it back to Grandma's house. I only remember the small woods at the edge of the village swaying violently in the wind, the moon obscured by dark clouds, and the only street lamp, after a few sputtering hisses, finally dying out. From then on, I never called them again, not even once. But I didn't give up. I tried to study even harder. Certificates from competitions covered half the wall, and my report card every semester was at the top of the school. Thanks to this, Grandma had another reason to call my parents. I pressed my ear to the phone and heard the melodious sound of a piano on the other end. The sound was even better than my school's music teacher's. Grandma handed me the phone, and actress Chu's voice came through. She seemed busy with something else, so her voice sounded a bit distant. "Lila, 3 more times, don't be lazy." "Mommy, let me off the hook, please. I still have to get ready to go swimming with my friends." Actress Chu chuckled, saying helplessly, All right, I give up on you." It was clearly just a normal conversation. But why did my heart feel so heavy? Actress Chu's voice came through again, completely devoid of the previous gentleness. "Tell Charlotte Chu not to be so arrogant. What's there to boast about achieving first in a rural school?" My call of mom caught in my throat. I couldn't call out, but I couldn't not call out either. The other side quickly hung up. When I was 10, I finally got to wait for my parents to come home. Grandma had informed us early that they would come home for Tet this year. As soon as winter break started, I helped Grandma clean the house inside and out. But they returned earlier than planned, saying they'd only stay 1 night before leaving. I hid behind the door, wanting to look but not daring to. My parents, in person, looked even younger and more beautiful than on TV, more beautiful even than my classmates' parents. But why? Why did I still feel so sad? Clearly, I had them. Clearly, I had parents. Grandma quickly put down her broom. "Didn't you say you'd come back for Tet?" They stammered, unable to answer for a long time. I had never seen Grandma angry with anyone, except for that time a mischievous boy pushed me down the stairs. She went to his house, carrying a knife. The boy was so scared he froze, crying and apologizing to me. But on the way back, Grandma fell and had to rest for half a month to recover. Today, she was angry again. "Is it Lila Chu again? Who exactly is your biological child? Can you even tell the difference anymore?" Actress Chu said irritably, "Mom, you wouldn't understand. Lila's winter camp is very important this time. Her father and I absolutely have to go with her." Director Chu quickly chimed in. "That's right, Mom. I'm very relieved knowing Charlotte Chu is here with you, but Lila Chu only has us." Grandma was so furious she slammed the broom onto the ground. "I'm old now. I can't take care of children anymore. Do you understand?" Director Chu seemed to suddenly realize something, and his angry gaze fixed directly on me. "Is Charlotte Chu being disobedient, isn't she? She's clearly gotten used to being wild." From then on, no matter what Grandma said, Director Chu only believed that I was disobedient. Even Grandma didn't want me anymore. Perhaps Actress Chu felt a little guilty. She bought me a lot of clothes, but none of them fit. I was very thin, even thinner than other children. The sizes she picked were all based on Lila Chu's measurements. As I tried on the clothes, Actress Chu kept murmuring, "No way, Lila wore this size 3 years ago. How can you be this small? These pants. Oh, I forgot Lila takes figure skating, so her legs are longer. Goodness, why does it look so strange on you?" She didn't understand. I didn't understand either. Was I wearing someone else's clothes by mistake, or had someone else taken my parents away? That night, Actress Chu insisted on sleeping with me. I was both excited and scared. Before, on nights with heavy rain and loud thunder, I used to wish Actress Chu would hold me while I slept, just once. But when she actually lay beside me, I didn't dare to move. Actress Chu's body was very warm, but my hands and feet were cold. I subtly inched closer, afraid of making her cold. The next morning, I heard Actress Chu complaining to Grandma. "Grandma, how do you bathe Charlotte Chu? She has a strange smell on her. Lila, on the other hand, truly has the scent a girl should have." Much later, I understood. She was only used to children who smelled nice. It wasn't my fault I didn't have that nice smell. We had only been together for less than 12 hours, but I already realized that my parents truly preferred Lila Chu. Lila Chu could play the piano, dance, and even figure skate. She had traveled to many countries and was currently attending the best international school in Beijing. As for Charlotte Chu, she was nothing more than a mischievous child. That winter, it was truly cold. I'm not lying. The very next day, my parents left because Lila Chu called them, crying. She said she'd just finished tidying up and had stepped on a chair and fallen. My parents hastily drove off. They didn't even have time to eat the breakfast Grandma had prepared. I stirred my bowl of porridge. The steam rising made my eyes sting. "Grandma, Can you also tell parents when you fall? I had always thought that only when I won first place, only when I received a commendation, could I call them. Nora Chu once said that adults working outside were very stressed and had to learn to report good news, not bad. But why? Is parental love, which should require no effort to obtain, so difficult form to acquire? Time continued to pass, year after year. I got used to them occasionally dropping by to visit me, got used to the calls that only came once every 1 or 2 months, just as I had gotten used to the fact that on the road from the village entrance to Grandma's house, the long broken street lamp had still not been fixed, until one day my classmates were all watching a video. They said it was the little princess of the entertainment industry, whose father was a famous director and mother a renowned actress. In the video, actress Chu cooked breakfast for Lila Chu. It looked incredibly delicate and appetizing. Afterward, she even helped the girl pick out clothes for gym class, her wardrobe overflowing. Director Chu, despite rarely having time to rest, still woke up early to drive the girl to school. As he opened the car door, he smiled and said, "Princess, please get in." The comments on the screen scrolled by quickly, each word etching itself into my mind. Oh my God, in my next life I want to be Lila Chu. May I ask if Director Chu wants to have more children? I'll go die immediately. What a different world. Can you see? She has several phones on her desk, and the cabinet behind her is full of cameras. So happy, so happy. They're so beautiful and enjoyable to watch. Hope they film more. Only then did I learn they were participating in a family reality show called Parents' Precious Darlings. So it turns out they're the real family. Of course. If they're not a family, then you are? My deskmate sneered, full of disdain. I nodded. No, I responded. And yet, yes. That evening after school, I uncharacteristically sat before the television, watching the program over and over again. My gaze was vacant. I thought I should be crying. I didn't know when Grandma had come to stand behind me, but she softly said, "Go to sleep. What's there to watch in such nonsense?" I didn't turn around, my voice light and distant in the room. "Grandma, Lila Chu is their precious darling, so what am I?" Grandma, nearly 80 years old, gently embraced me. "You are my precious darling. Grandma loves you very, very much. You must also love yourself very, very much, remember?" Grandma was crying. She was hurting as well. She was old, and her only daughter, now rich in fame and fortune, had no time to visit her even once. I was not the only one who bore the burden of disappointment. In my senior year of high school, during the first mock exam, I outscored the second-place student by over 30 points, firmly securing the top spot. My new homeroom teacher was overjoyed. When the dismissal bell rang, she instructed me to have my parents attend the next parent-teacher conference to share their experience with everyone. I quietly pulled out the exam paper from my desk and continued working. The boy in the back row scoffed mockingly. "So what if she's first? I've never seen her parents attend a parent-teacher conference. How could you say that about a classmate? What if I'm speaking the truth? Her mother gave birth to her, then ran off with another man. Didn't you know that before arguing? She's just a wild child no one wants." I slammed my hand onto the desk, glaring at him. "I'm not a wild child. I have parents." "You're lying. I've never seen your parents." "Me neither. Nor have I." My deskmate, secretly watching a video on her phone, said impatiently, "All right, if you don't have them, you don't. You're too noisy. I still need to watch the Lila Chu family's video." "Lila Chu? It's Lila Chu again. She's just a thief." My deskmate bristled, yelling, "What did you say?" I looked her straight in the eye, enunciating each word. "I said, Lila Chu is a thief. She stole my parents." The air fell silent for 3 seconds. Then suddenly, mocking laughter erupted. "I think Charlotte Chu's gone crazy. She's studied herself into madness." "I'm also surnamed Chu. Can I be Lila Chu's younger sister?" "Then let me change my surname to Chu. Is it still not too late?" From the very beginning, I always remembered my mother's instruction, not to tell anyone who my parents were. But from the very beginning, no one believed that I was their daughter. Even I, myself, was starting to lose faith. and from that very day, my nightmare began. The entire dorm room isolated me. Everyone would go to bed before I returned to the room, refusing to let me turn on the lights, or they would wait until I was already in bed before starting their activities, deliberately preventing me from sleeping. During meals, someone would always accidentally stumble right beside me. They would be fine, but the leftover food from their trays would spill all over me. Some even intentionally stole my sanitary pads, pointing at my blood-stained pants and laughing loudly. This wasn't the first time I had been bullied, nor would it be the last. The young homeroom teacher couldn't stop them, so she requested permission from the principal for me to transfer to day schooling. But on the very first night, I was ambushed in the alley next to the school. They grabbed my hair and slammed my head onto the ground. "Top of the class, huh? So smart are we?" Each sentence punctuated by a slap. "If you dare badmouth Lila Chu one more time, next time I'll strip you naked and post it online. Don't you want to be famous?" A sharp high heel stomped hard into my stomach, then ground against my face. "Their family has good parents. They get everything they want. But what about you? A disgusting child no one wants. And you dare call our Lila Chu a thief?" My vision blurred. Perhaps it was blood. Or perhaps tears. My existence was like the dark side of the moon, unseen. Just a festering wound. For a moment, I even thought it would be good if I could just die in this alley. But Grandma was still waiting for me at home. Their wild laughter gradually faded. I bit down hard, crawled out of the alley, and then passed out, leaving a long trail of blood behind me. When I woke up, my nostrils were filled with the smell of disinfectant. The door opened. It was Director Chu and Actress Chu. Behind them stood the girl I had seen countless times in videos, Lila Chu. She was truly radiant, confident, every emotion clearly visible on her face. The comments often said that children with a strong backing were always like this. Actress Chu looked at me, my head swathed in white bandages, her gaze showing a flicker of pity. "You, Charlotte, are you all right?" She was my mother, yet even the way she called my name felt alien and forced. I stared blankly at them. Should I call out? No, I wouldn't. In my dreams, I had called out countless times, but no one ever answered. Director Chu saw that I remained silent, his expression already showing some displeasure. "Why did you tell the entire class that Lila Chu was a thief?" Oh, so they had come to interrogate me, though I didn't know how they found out about this, but I also wanted to get an explanation myself. I lifted my head. Wasn't it the truth? Slap! A large, burning palm struck my cheek forcefully. For a moment, I felt the entire hospital room spin. So Director Chu's hand, which could gently caress Lila Chu's head, could also cruelly slap my face. "How could you be so malicious? Do you want to ruin Lila Chu? Let me tell you, Lila Chu is our daughter. The one not listed in our household register is you, not her," my mother gasped. "What are you saying?" Actress Chu looked at my reddened cheek, instinctively wanting to step forward and comfort me. But I pulled away. No need anymore. Never again. From the moment I was sent away at 3 years old, I no longer had parents. When Lila Chu left, she cast a casual glance at me, even a hint of disdain in her eyes, as if I had tried everything yet still couldn't hold on to what I wanted. While she only needed to stand there to have everything, I sat alone in the desolate hospital room, my heart aching. It felt as if something had been forcibly severed from me. Thanks to my top academic performance, the school held me in high regard. The students who assaulted me were all punished, though they didn't seem to care much. But at least they no longer openly bullied me. I silently endured until the university entrance exam. The day the exam results were announced, I wasn't particularly surprised, because a few days prior I had already received a call from the admissions office of Tsinghua, Peking. I had options, many options. I no longer stubbornly insisted on going to Beijing. Grandma's health was deteriorating, and I wanted to attend university locally. Grandma said that sometimes avoidance is also a form of stubborn attachment. Don't insist on going to Beijing just because you want to be near them. Nor should you abandon your best option just because you hate them. After careful consideration, I still applied to the Faculty of Medicine at Peking University. I wanted Grandma to live longer, much longer. That way, on this dark path, at least someone would still be waiting for me at the end. Director Chu and actress Chu were always incredibly busy, filming movies, appearing on shows, and even taking Lila Chu on vacation and for studies abroad in America. So much so that Grandma couldn't even find an opportunity to tell them about my grades. She wanted to tell Director Chu and actress Chu that their family now had a Peking University student, a fact worthy of being recorded in the family annals. But for me, it seemed they had never held any expectations. Perhaps I just wanted to prove that I could still excel without them. I sent them a message. I got into Peking University. A long, long time passed. Still, no one replied. When I went to collect my admission letter, my homeroom teacher was overjoyed. She held my hand tightly and spoke gently. Just as flowers will bloom along the path, so too will your future unfold. On my way home, I kept opening my mother's chat window, intending to send her a photo of my admission letter. But waiting for me at the village entrance were murderers. I hadn't done anything. I had only spoken a truth. They dragged me to a nearby forest. Over those 3 hours, I endured the most inhumane pain of this life. Flowers will bloom along the path, but they would not bloom on mine. My admission letter was torn to shreds and thrown into the river. Fish all those pieces out, and we'll let you go. Then, they pushed me into the river. The river wasn't deep, but my life was too fragile. On the phone, which had been kicked away, the screen was still paused on the chat window with my mother, until the last ray of afternoon sun was mercilessly swallowed by dark clouds. Grandma, I'm sorry. I floated in the air, watching the small old woman with her cane, walking along the path, calling out my name. Passing by the village entrance, the shopkeeper was about to close his store. Charlotte Chu still isn't back? Grandma stopped, sweat pouring down her face. Her phone can't be reached. The school said she left this afternoon. I've been looking everywhere, but I can't find her. After that, the whole village went looking for me. Meanwhile, my parents were taking someone else's child on a beach vacation. A beachfront villa, an exquisite dinner, a happy and joyful family. If not for the surrounding cameras, it would surely have been even more perfect and harmonious. Finally, Grandma managed to reach actress Chu. She told her I was missing, that no one could contact me. Actress Chu seemed to be reapplying her makeup, deliberately lowering her voice. I'm filming a show right now. How old is she? At her age, isn't it normal to go out and play with friends? Lila Chu also. Charlotte Chu has never come home this late. She's never even mentioned friends, I tried to recall. It seemed I really didn't have any friends. Sealed off within herself, eccentric, peculiar, and virtually parentless. Each label was enough to turn me into an isolated island. Then, should everyone go look? I've already called the police. You two hurry back. With that, Grandma quickly hung up. For the first time, because of my troubles, Director Chu and actress Chu dropped everything and rushed back. Perhaps they cared about me a little. I watched them hurriedly step out of the car, speaking as they walked. Oh dear, what if people find out who we are? I quietly lowered my gaze. I shouldn't have expected anything from them. As soon as actress Chu entered Grandma's house, she loudly demanded, Mother, why didn't you answer your phone? Why did you call the police? Who are you two? Aren't you her biological parents? You gave birth to her but didn't raise her? Instead, you ran off to raise someone else's child. Uncle, who had rushed back from the big city, pointed directly at actress Chu and began to scold her relentlessly. That cursed girl! So old and all she knows is how to cause trouble for people. Director Chu, with a hint of guilt, glanced at Uncle, then turned to scold me. They call little Lila Chu a princess, but me, they call a cursed girl. Perhaps they weren't wrong. Indeed, in any case, I was already dead. Outside, a commotion suddenly erupted. The police had arrived. She's been found. The family should come to the police station. Actress Chu froze for a moment, then quickly put on her mask. Mother, she's been found, so there's no problem anymore. I'll take my leave now. Director Chu looked displeased, glaring at Uncle. I told you, she's just a child who loves to play, playing to the point of ending up at the police station. Madam, please inform the child's parents. The specific cause of death will only be determined after forensic results. Director Chu staggered, his lips trembling. Cause of death? Who died? The police officer looked up, a little strangely. Charlotte Chu. Grandma let out a choked sob, fainting on the spot. Actress Chu lunged forward, grabbing the police officer's hand tightly. Officer, how did my daughter die? It can't be! It can't be! News of the top university entrance exam scorer being raped and murdered quickly sent shockwaves across the country. The police station was packed with people. As there were no surveillance cameras in that area, solving the case would require more time. The young homeroom teacher covered her face and wept. Charlotte Chu was a very diligent student, the smartest, most obedient, and most motivated child I've ever met. That day, when she received her acceptance letter, I even told her that her future life would surely be as she wished. But I never imagined she wouldn't have a future at all. My deskmate froze when they saw my parents. So you two really are Charlotte Chu's parents? But why have you never cared about her? You didn't even attend parent-teacher meetings. She was isolated, bullied, and you never came. The only person who had stood by me from elementary to high school when I was isolated, my supportive classmate, was also called in. She wasn't only bullied in high school, Charlotte Chu had been like that since elementary school. Last time, she merely spoke the truth, that Lila Chu had stolen her parents, and those girls beat her so badly she had to be hospitalized. The girl who had been called out quickly shook her head. It wasn't us. It really wasn't us. It's just that at the time, for some reason, because Lila Chu was crying in her fan group, we couldn't stand it, so we... I saw Director Chu's hand drop to his side, trembling slightly. But why didn't she tell us? His words trailed off. Perhaps he had remembered something. Many, many years ago, when I had just entered elementary school. I called him from the shopkeeper's store, wanting to tell him that someone was bullying me. He didn't have the patience to listen to me completely. In the waiting area, a college girl was sitting, waiting because she had lost something. On her phone, she was playing the latest entertainment show featuring Lila Chu, with the volume turned all the way up. My parents and I have no secrets from each other. We are not only family, but also friends. It was Lila Chu's voice. The college girl glanced over, chuckling sarcastically. This world is truly chaotic to the point where I want to see it. No secrets? How ridiculous. Actress Chu held my phone, her face gaunt, as she returned to Grandma's house. Grandma had been awake all night. Stepping out of the car, the first thing Actress Chu did was plug in my phone to charge. This phone was a reward Grandma had given me when I got into the county's high school. The first thing I did was add my parents' contacts. Aside from missed calls from Uncle, Actress Chu's contact was always at the top of the list. She scrolled through each message. Mom, school is about to start. At that time, I must have thought how wonderful it would be if they could take me to school just once. Perhaps then, no one would say I didn't have parents. Mom, the teacher asked which high school we planned to apply to. Guess which one I wrote down? I had written the name of First High School. It's incredibly difficult, but to get into a Beijing university, I absolutely must strive. Mom, Grandma is sick, but don't worry, I will take care of her. Mom, I've watched your new movie. It's really good. Are you and Dad coming home for Lunar New Year? I've been accepted into Beijing University. The last message was a 2-second voice recording. Mom, save me. Trapped on that interface, I could only manage to send a plea for help to my mother. Actress Chu frantically opened her phone. But the last 2 messages simply weren't on her phone. Lila Chu called again. For the first time, Actress Chu didn't pick up Lila Chu's call. A sudden wave of disorientation and profound weariness washed over her. Why had it come to this? Why? Director Chu found Actress Chu sitting in my room. It was sweltering outside, but she clutched my blanket tightly, refusing to let go. Perhaps it was because I had switched to a scented fabric softener. She didn't complain about it anymore. Beside her lay my diary and my phone. Hearing the familiar footsteps, she spoke as if to herself. Tell me, How incredibly brilliant is our daughter. Why did I never see it before? Look, so many awards and certificates hung on the wall, yet she never once told us. She was even the city's top scorer, and you always said she never needed extra tutoring. Imagine how much effort she must have put in. This summer, she would have gone to Beijing University, but why did I know nothing at all? Director Chu sighed softly. Why didn't you answer Lila's call? This is our fault. Lila is innocent. Don't hurt her. She's not our biological child, so she's more sensitive. Actress Chu suddenly shot to her feet, staring fiercely at Director Chu. What about my daughter then? What about our own biological child? She was beaten but didn't dare tell us, bullied but didn't dare tell us. Now she's dead. She cried out to me for help. She kept repeating it, listening to my final plea for help, my last voice message. Then she collapsed. But what good did that do? When I was alive, I didn't need her love or her regret. Now that I'm dead, I need it even less. The police investigation results were in. The main culprit was Lila Chu. Ever since her previous hospitalization, she hadn't been as calm and natural as I'd once thought. She added my contact information, constantly sending veiled and open messages, gloating about how happy their family of 3 was without me. She even deliberately sent me a photo of their household registration book, the one Director Chu always spoke of, which clearly listed only the 3 of them living together. As for me, my name had been registered at Grandma's house since childhood. As Grandma grew older, Director and Actress Chu were planning to bring me home. Lila Chu grew fearful. She desperately tried to ingratiate herself with Director and Actress Chu, fearing that without a blood connection, all the good things she had would vanish. My acceptance into Beijing University completely unhinged her. Everything she had was bought with money. Even attending the most expensive schools and being tutored by famous teachers, her grades showed no improvement whatsoever. Now she faced the risk of being expelled from her overseas school. So, she chose to make me disappear. As long as I was gone, no matter how terrible she was, Director and Actress Chu would only have her to love. No wall could ever block out the wind. Soon after, an unprecedented wave of public outrage erupted online. People mercilessly condemned the family of 3, once revered like deities. Sparkling Princess Lila Chu, the entertainment industry's darling, was now branded a murderer. She had killed the biological child of her adoptive parents. 100, 1,000, or even 10,000 Lila Chus couldn't compare to one Charlotte Chu. I've heard of this student. She always ranked first in every exam. Truly a legend. What a terrible shame. I heard she'd applied to the medical school at Beijing University. It's truly a great loss. Let's sign the petition. Lila Chu absolutely must be executed. Lila Chu deserves the death penalty. Her father was a murderer, and so is she. Genetics really don't lie. Even this model couple shouldn't be spared. What kind of farce is this? The Guardians failed their responsibility from beginning to end. Death penalty, death penalty. Everyone was calling for their punishment. But I knew. In the end, the only one truly dead was still me. Lila Chu almost went insane during the trial. If you adopted me, why couldn't you love me with your whole hearts? Why did you still think of that girl? It's all your fault. If it hadn't been for that celebration party, would my father have died? Would you have made so much money? You adopted me simply to ease your guilty consciences. You are the ones who deserve to die. Charlotte Chu deserved to die. It's all retribution. Retribution. Her words were met only by Director Chu's face filled with regret and Actress Chu's vacant stare. They moved back to Grandma's house, sleeping in my room. I absolutely hated this. Actress Chu would occasionally pick up my diary. Actually, I didn't want her to read it. I didn't want her to know my vulnerabilities, didn't want her to understand my thoughts. Who would want a stranger to know such things? In the thick diary, the most frequently appearing words were, initially, Mom and Dad, then it shifted to Grandma. Finally, only Grandma remained. But this diary, I had originally started writing it for Director and Actress Chu. Birthday wish. Mom and Dad come visit me. This was a line I wrote when I first started elementary school, missing them so much. Nora Chu's father came home, bringing her so many presents, even an adorable teddy bear. Nora Chu was already 12, yet she still wanted her father to piggyback her. I, on the other hand, didn't need that. This was a line I left behind just before graduating from elementary school. Back then, I was so envious I didn't dare look for too long. I got a new phone, now I can chat with Mom. The sales lady said I could even video call Mom and Dad. Grandma is very sick, really sick. Uncle has arrived. Should I tell Mom? Afterward, I didn't tell her. I was afraid she would worry. I would take good care of Grandma on director and actress Chu's behalf. Mom and Dad don't like me, I can be sure of that. They like Lila Chu. Who wouldn't like Lila Chu, right? Who would like Charlotte Chu? I'm so tired. Studying is tiring. Waiting is tiring. Everything is tiring. If you didn't want me, why did you give birth to me? Lila Chu is a thief. I'm not lying. It turns out she was scared too, afraid I'd steal everything from her. She said I wouldn't get anything, but that's okay. I have to get into Beijing University. I have to take care of Grandma. I can definitely do it. During my high school years, I struggled between motivating myself and giving up. But no matter how difficult it was, I overcame it. I had clearly endured. I got into Beijing University, Grandma was overjoyed, Uncle was also very happy. As for the others, start a new life, Charlotte Chu. Don't pay attention to insignificant people anymore. Indeed, I've started a new life now. Everything now has nothing to do with me anymore. Actress Chu buried her face in her hands and sobbed. Director Chu stepped out of Grandma's house, standing motionless as he gazed at the small, pitch-black road in the distance. He burst into tears. There were no lights. How did she find her way through? That unlit village road. I'd walked it alone countless times. I could walk it with my eyes closed. Whether the streetlights were on or not, it no longer mattered. In the days leading up to actress Chu's suicide, Grandma had noticed her strangeness. The online fury never ceased. Grandma would cry and laugh at the same time, clutching her phone. Later, she found several uniforms in my closet, carefully placed them on the bed, folding and refolding them. 2 sets for autumn and winter, 2 for summer, and a single winter coat. There was also a pile of clothes that still had their tags on. These were gifts actress Chu had bought me for Tet, but I had never worn them. Because at the age I should have been wearing those clothes, I was at my most vulnerable to bullying. Anything good I had, I never held on to for long. I was afraid I'd ruin them. On the morning of my birthday, actress Chu took all my belongings to the riverbank. She burned them to ash. Then she slipped into the river. The river wasn't deep. It was actress Chu's overwhelming yearning for death. Director Chu's hair turned white overnight, but he calmly handled actress Chu's funeral arrangements. Grandma was taken away after attending my funeral. To this day, she still doesn't know how actress Chu truly passed away. Director Chu began liquidating his assets. I accompanied him on a trip to Beijing. Lila Chu's princess room was beautiful. Even her bathroom was more spacious and cleaner than my own room. In the living room, a piano, newly bought half a year ago, stood gleaming, and the walls were adorned with family photos from their travels. The villa was vast, yet it couldn't contain a tiny person like me. Director Chu donated all the money to an anti-bullying fund. Perhaps he still believed that school bullying was the true reason for my demise. That was until he was critically wounded, stabbed by one of Lila Chu's fanatic fans, lying in the hospital where he uttered his last words, speaking to my soul which was almost fading away. I was the one who harmed you. I'm sorry. Sorry? But I won't forgive. Not in this lifetime, I will never forgive. A flash of white light, and I was reborn. Reborn into an ordinary family. My parents owned a small convenience store, always poring over my report card. My daughter is so smart. Her grades have never been this good before. That's right. Unlike my past life where I was always the top student, now I was just an ordinary girl. To celebrate with everyone, I've decided we're going out for hot pot tonight. Yeah! I leapt with joy. In my past life, I was named Charlotte Chu. Grandma said they hoped my future would be limitless. In this life, I am named Charlotte Reborn. My parents say I'm already good enough. I just need to cherish what I have. The road outside our house still hasn't had streetlights installed. Every time, my father waits for me at the crossroads, taking my hand to walk home together. You're so big now, and you're still afraid of the dark? I'm very afraid. Then Father will always come to pick you up. Standing not far away, their souls slowly became transparent. So, Charlotte Chu liked Hot Pot. So, our daughter was afraid of the dark. It seems we never truly understood her. Before closing the door, I subconsciously glanced outside. My mother was calling me to try on new clothes. I carefully locked the door, then rushed inside. In the old neighborhood, warm orange light spilled from the windows. Occasionally, my laughter echoed out. The neighbors downstairs were accustomed to this. That little girl is so happy. Their daughter is always like that, full of joy. And so it remained for years to come.